Philippe, nice to see you. Thanks for your time as ever. Let's start with Miko. Top pitch obviously went off at, just before half time or just after half time on Tuesday night. What can you tell us about that injury now he's had his scan?
Yeah, really bad news. So it's an ACL. So he's going to be out for the rest of the season. He's going to get surgery as fast as possible. So very bad news for the team, for him, for the club, for everybody. I spoke with the players around that also this morning when I could give the message to them. First, it's important now. Mirko is somebody, and we have quite a lot who came in a few months ago, who are just here in the area, away of their families. So you come in a sort of new family with a new team, a dressing room, new guys. You make friendship. You do things outside of football. And that falls away now for him. So it will be rehab alone, or maybe for the moment with a few other guys, but I hope as fast as possible alone or almost alone, maybe with Ante also, who has also the big injury. But it's important now that all team stay connected with the guys also, and that we stay one team together also in the difficult moments.
And that was sort of going to be what I was going to ask you next, in terms of how do you keep those players like Ante, now like Miko as well, who have long injury setbacks and have a long road ahead of them. How do you manage to keep them connected with the team? Is there anything that you can do to keep them close to it, or is it to an extent you have to leave them alone a little bit?
It's both things, but I want to keep them with the team. So if there's something to do with the team, I want them there. And that's why I spoke also with the players, that I want that the other guys also do things with them outside of football. And I mean the right things, not to go to pubs or something, to be very clear. But that they have a social life also outside. Otherwise, it's very lonely.
And he's someone that you've started in your first two games here, so he's clearly someone that you like. From a football perspective, I'm sure it's a big blow for you to lose yet another player this season.
Yes, I understand your question, but I try to look at everything always out of the half full glass. So if you start thinking about that, and then you can think about all the problems and all the bad things that happen, I always try to find solutions. So my focus is there, and to control the things that you can control. This is something we cannot control anymore. It's now putting focus in all the other players who are fit, and helping the guys injured also, of course.
Yeah, and on those, are there anyone that's a little bit closer to coming back into your
There are
team?
a few coming closer, but nobody yet who's ready to be in a squad. So not towards the game, but there are a few players coming closer towards training with us, maybe partial.
I mean, I was going to ask you about the two guys, or Schlupp as well, but I think he's going to be out a little bit longer. But the two left backs, because clearly that's a position where you haven't had anyone sort of naturally available there. Kellen Fisher has had to play there and out of position, and I think most people say he did a good job in the second half on Tuesday night.
For sure, yeah.
How frustrating has that been? Because I imagine there's a left-footed kind of naturalness that you would like on that wing to kind of stretch the play, and it gives you a lot more balance, I guess, to have a left footer. So is it been I guess another problem that you've had to kind of solve coming in without having those two left backs available?
Yeah, clearly it's not an advantage. And also, if you have several players in that position that can play, you can also make the right changes when somebody gets tired. So it's not the case for the moment, but not to lose energy in that. I cannot change anything around that. I need all my energy to change the things that are needed to be changed in the club, maybe to avoid injuries, but all the other things also. So there are so many things to be done, and my full focus is on that, and not to think, okay, that's a problem for sure if you cannot solve it in another way. Yes, we could put Kenny on the left fullback, that's true, but then I didn't do it because I wanted to keep a certain structure also for the future, that you can build on something. If every game I'm going to change players in positions and 5-6 players, it's going to be very confusing for them. So we need to build these relationships step by step.
You've spoken since you've come in about the need to, I guess, lift this group a little bit and inject some confidence into it. Tuesday night, clearly, I think we could all see was a real improvement in terms of performance. it was a late sucker punch. But have you seen the players take confidence from that performance in training? Have you seen kind of a positive reaction, an uplift in the mood in the last few days?
I think it's the other way around. If the confidence was not there yet before the game, they could not do that on the pitch. So it was work done before the game, not during the game or after. And of course, you show also those things and also the things we need to improve and that we had to do better from this game. It's a pity that, like you say, it was a sucker punch at the end. And that's a pity because you come out of that series of games. If you win then that one, then everybody's in very positives because of the way the team played. Now it was still good to okay, but it's not focusing on the results alone. It's about the process and making things better game by game. But of course, in football, the results stay very important. But without making things better, we cannot get the results. So we need to focus on that first.
And that sort of links to my next question, which is going to be that confidence. Is that something you can coach into a group, or does that come purely on what happens on the pitch and from those structures, like you say?
No, like I said with your last question, it's something from before. And showing them what they can do, training on the right things in training, showing them also the spaces that we can find during the game. That's also analyzing opponents, because every game is different. It's working on a lot of things. It's tactical work with videos on the pitch, but also mental work. Like I said from the beginning, I stepped in this building. I believe there's much more potential in this group than they've shown until now. And it's about creating a good structure with the team that everybody understands every action, what to do as a team. That creates also confidence on the pitch, and then they can show their qualities. If the structure is not there yet, then everybody plays on his own island, and you don't get a good team, you don't get a good performance, and the levels of confidence go down. So we need to continue making this structure better and better, making the patterns on the ball better and better, and like this, you will see confidence grow.
And I think a big thing on Tuesday night was the chance creation elements, the chances you created. That was much improved.
I didn't create any.
Not you personally.
I wish I had,
you as a team.
Those
you as
days
a team.
are gone. Yeah.
Of course, you as a team.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think that, and you spoke about this, that maybe struggled just to take those chances. Again, what can be done to do that? Is that something that's linked to the confidence point? Because if you're more confident in those moments, are you a bit more clinical as well?
Yes, but that's really black and white, that story, because you have amazing strikers, best strikers in the world in their period, in their career, and they have 6, 7, 10, 11 games that they don't score. Do they lose confidence? I don't think so, when they're really, really good strikers, because they know, I continue, and then the moment comes. So it has something to do with luck also in moments. For example, the really good chance that Emiliano had was just blocked by a foot, otherwise it goes always in the corner, and you have a very good attack and a good finish there. So no, it's about creating the chances and getting in these situations also in training, that everything becomes natural. Maybe that the attacking players missed, to get more goals in training also, to be in these positions. So we're working on that in the short amount of time that we had until now.
I wanted to ask you about Joarma, who clearly scored an excellent goal on Tuesday night. I think we can see the potential that he has. What have you made of him coming into the building? Because I think all of the fans have been impressed by how physical he is and the stature that he has. And it's maybe quite unconventional, isn't it, for a wide player to have that sort of physicality and height that he has. What have you made of him so far?
Yes, he has a certain profile, but for me, to be honest, I think he's at 30% of his potential. And he's going to be one of the ones I need to be tough with to get him to 100%. He's doing a lot of good things, but also still quite a few things that he needs to improve. He knows, we talk about that. I'm happy what he's showing until now, because, okay, I saw the images from the beginning of the season, and clearly everything we talk about, he's putting effort in. But it's somebody with still much more potential to make him stronger, better, faster, making better decisions. So I'm really excited to work the next months and the next years with him to get him to a really high level.
And in terms of his position as well, because we've seen him as a 9, we've seen him out wide. I think we saw this with Josh when he was a little bit younger. He played more out wide and then moved central. Is he someone that you feel could move and become a number 9 in the future, or is it all about kind of getting out more of him at the moment?
Yeah, don't confuse them too much now. And speaking about other positions, let's first, as a team, that everybody understands in his position what to do. And when they're doing that well, then we can start looking at people who can start to play different positions, that we can get more a hybrid system also than it is now. I need to first create the foundations to build a house on. So we're busy with that now.
And just a couple on Mate. I mean, again, I know you spoke about it after the game. You said you'd kind of speak with him. Have you seen the reaction you wanted from him? Has he kind of taken it in the way you hoped he would? Now you sort of had time to take the emotion and the intensity of those hours after a game off it in the last few days?
He had a really mature reaction. I heard it just the day after, but my performance staff said, okay, they had to do runs after the game. The guys who played less than one half. And he asked at the end to do more. So those are the reactions I want to get. And we had to talk the day after about why I made the decision. With videos also. It's very clear for him. He understands. It's also because of reasons that I made a decision about things that I didn't speak yet about towards the team. I made it clear also towards all the team what I expect in every role, in what I missed there. So he can kick on now. There's nothing changed, but we need to get him to a much better physical level than he's been now. He's been sick, he didn't play much. The players who didn't play much, they didn't train much also in between games. So we need with all group to raise that level. And that's what I expect from players who come on the pitch, that they give a peak of energy to the team and make things better. So I'm very positive about the mindset that he showed. It was easy to moan or to be down or to be depressed after the change. I would even understood at that moment, but he reacted that he wanted more and that he need more physicality. So, like I said to you guys, it was on me. Maybe it was too fast to bring him also after 2 trainings where he maybe gave a lot and that he was not ready what I expected of him. So it's about me also getting to know the players where they are for the moment.
You gave an example on Monday of Christos Schollis, who clearly was at this club, and you look at where he is now compared to where he was. Perhaps us in our roles, and I guess fans as well, when they look, we can be quite quick to judge players.
It's
Particularly
not
those
only here;
overseas.
it's all over the world.
Absolutely.
More and more. I think it changed with the past, also because the changement of players in all the teams, it's much faster than 20, 30 years ago. The changing of managers, of sporting directors, that's then the new thing also you see in all the clubs. So I think it has something to do with society, that there's less and less patience in things to build something. But you see all the good clubs in the world, all the structurally good clubs in the world who long term get results. They will have moments that they go down a bit, but they stick to the plans that they had and they don't throw away everything every 3-4 months. It's the same with the players. I know I made also transfers in my career, not so much because I stayed 10 years in Bruges, because I love the club and I love to stay there. But every time you need to adapt, you need time. First to get these connections with the other players around you. In the club, your place in a hierarchy in the club, your family need to adapt to everything. So everybody needs time. For me, everybody needs at least 1 season to really get to know them as a club. You cannot say after 6 months that a player is not good enough. It's not honest to make that decision, because I've seen so many times in the past wrong decisions. Okay, I gave the Cholis example. I will give one more. It's a good story also. And I know you guys like stories.
Yes.
When I was assistant in Bruges, Um, they bought Carlos Bacca. I don't know if you know him. He played later on AC Milan, Villarreal, really good teams. In the beginning, he was struggling like hell. In the training, he didn't move, he didn't know where to run, it was nothing. So one moment I was with the scouting team to discuss about things, and the head coach came in the office and he started to shout at them to say, how can you guys bring a player in like that? Because even my grandmother can play better football. He was mad, really mad about it. The coach left at the end of the season, the new coach, new season started, and the next year Carlos Bacca became top scorer, and he made, I think, the year after directly, a big transfer, and he was a good player with Colombia. He scored a lot of goals. He played AC Milan, big teams in La Liga. He was a good player, but he needed time to adapt. Also to adapt to the kind of football that the manager at that moment asked, but also in life, the connection with the other players, the language, everything. So you need to give players time. But yeah, that's the world of a manager, and everybody knows who manages players. You cannot make an assessment after 3-6 months, an honest assessment. So let us work really hard, give them chances, but of course they need to show the right reactions. Otherwise the story can be different. But people who give their best every day on the training ground, they will get chances also to show themselves on the pitch.
Do you have to speak with players about that as well? Because I'm sure when they come here, they have ideas of what it could look like, and obviously every player wants to hit the ground running. When it doesn't quite work like that, do you have to manage them as well in terms of that understanding that point?
Sometimes yes. That's my job to do also. So I first need to get to know everybody better, and now it's how much? 24, 28 players. I directly need to learn and to know what they need. Some need a slap on the head, some you need to comfort, some you need to push. It's individual things to get the best out of them. So if you're in a club longer and you get 3-4 transfers in a transfer window, because your structure before is good, then it's easier also to make more time for that. So now it's more difficult because I have a lot of other things to do.
And just a final few for me, but the game tomorrow, QPR, I think it's a coach you've come up before against in Julien Stéphan in France. Does it help when you've got that sort of, and maybe it doesn't make a difference at all, but does it help when you face a coach you've faced before, particularly, as you say, when you're still learning your own squad? Not at all?
No, totally not at all, because the way he plays now with QPR is totally in the same style that he played in Strasbourg, for example. So, no. In this case, not. With some, yes. Some stick really to one system, one kind of football. I see that he adapted to the qualities of his players and how he wants to get the best out of his group of players. So it's a different style than in Strasbourg, where they mostly played with 5 in the back, for example. So that's a big difference already. So not really. It's about analyzing well the games and what he did the last weeks and the last months, and how they want to play football and how we can stop that. But for sure also, and that stays for me even more important, how we can create chances, how we can play our football, how can we make our football better. And that's also a very important point, that we're not only focused about stopping opponents, but that we dare to play and that we dare to create, and that we can score goals and that we can bring joy to our fans, because everybody wants to first get results. That's the first thing as a fan, that's normal. But if that is with good football and attracting football, that's what everybody wants, and that's what I want for this club.
They've clearly won back-to-back games, but they have had, and this is going to be their second away game, a lot of travel. They played on Wednesday, you guys played on Tuesday. Is there any advantage at all you can take from that?
Minor, I think. Then you can make comparison how many injured players they have and we have. I think it's a bigger disadvantage. So not looking at that, it's about tomorrow the game and giving our all. Also creating this energy back with the fans. That was my most satisfying moment after the game. I was super disappointed to to get this goal against at the end because it was not deserved. I know what kind of boost it could give the team, the fans, and everybody. But still, I saw a lot of fans after the game being positive, applauding the players. So they see they gave everything. They saw also that they created the chances the way we want to go, and that the fans understand that you cannot manage to do that in 1 week and change totally everything. But we're in the right direction, and we need to make the next step in the right direction against, for me, also a better opponent, with all respect towards Oxford, but a better opponent than we faced in the weekend.
You sort of mentioned it there. That was going to be my final point, because I think that's the something we haven't seen at Carrow Road really this season. Players and fans standing together at the end of the game. There's been lots of boos. There's been kind of talk of, well, it's in protests and whatnot. That must have been really pleasing for you, and I guess backed up what the players had.
It's major. There's only one way out of the position that the club is for the moment, and that's together. It's not one-on-one. It's not for the players on the pitch, because it has to be together, but it's the same with players, fans, or staff, players and fans, or board, players, staff and fans. We're in this story together, and the more we push, the more we support, the more we give each other energy, the faster we can grow again, and we can grow to where we want to go. And I know that the ambition of the owners, my ambitions and the ambitions of the fans are the same.
Philippe, thank you. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, Colin. Cameras off.